Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Side Hustle Review podcast. This is actually episode number 6, and I've been getting feedback, and some people are saying that the content is great, but they wish that it was a little bit more conversational. So I'm going to try and do that, but I do want to remind you that this is probably the most raw and underproduced podcast you'll listen to because I'm squeezing it in, juggling dad duties, and I have a full-time job, my own side hustles. So exactly why I'm doing this is to show you that this is real. And just like you, I am on a side hustle journey along with you. So today I want to talk about how to create a simple business plan. Now, before you tune out thinking you're not some MBA or startup founder, let me tell you this. A business plan isn't about being super fancy or super perfect. It's just a way to give yourself a roadmap, keep your ideas focused, and set you up for success. Even if your plan is just a few bullet points, this is something that can really be critical for you as you go through your side hustle journey. So by the end of this episode, you'll not only see how doable this is, but have some actionable tips and resources to help you get started today. So first, let's just talk about what a business plan is. Think of it as a roadmap. It is something that helps you organize your thoughts, set your goals, and identify roadblocks before you even hit them. Now, most of us jump into a side hustle or small business without much planning, and that's actually perfect. That's completely okay. But then you'll eventually find yourself asking questions like, who is my audience? How can I stand out or get more people to understand what I'm doing? And am I making money or am I just spending it or just not really understanding where the money is going? These things is when a business plan is really something you need because it can help you scale up and really get focused on things. It will answer these questions and keep you from running in circles. It's not about being rigid, it's really about giving yourself clarity and direction. One study by the Harvard Business Review found that entrepreneurs who wrote a formal business plan were 16% more likely to be successful in their business. Now, 16% isn't that much, but to give yourself a 16% edge, that's actually pretty great. Now, typically in any podcast, this is where someone talks about sponsors, but that's not what I have because I'm not that big. But I have been checking out a website called Flippa, and it's a platform where you can buy a business directly from other individuals. My experience so far is that I've been shopping for 6 months with a $1,500 budget, and I'll be honest, it doesn't seem like $1,500 is enough. I've realized to get a really worthwhile business that can build up, you're going to need a little bit more capital. So I'm upping the budget to $5,000. I am taking any type of money I earn through podcasts, side hustles, and putting it towards it. I do sell shirts. I do have tipping available. So if you want to help contribute, you can check those things out. I'll put the link in the description of this podcast and do whatever you want to do. No pressure. Right now, I'm at $3,000 so far, so I do need $2,000 more dollars. So whether I get a sponsor for the podcast or find a way to make more money through my side hustle, I'll continue to kind of put it there and bring you along for the journey if you are a subscriber to the podcast or to my other platforms. All right, let's break down the core elements of a business plan. I'll make it super simple. Your business plan does not have to be fancy, as I mentioned. It can just be clear bullet points in a Google Doc or even a Notion template. But what I'm about to list is your simple beginner-friendly framework that your business plan should contain. So first, it should have your idea or business overview. Basically, what are you doing and who's it for? An example would be starting a meal prep service for busy professionals who want healthy, affordable meals. Second area you should have is some type of market research. Who are your customers? What do they need? Who are your competitors? Check tools like Google Trends, Uber Suggest for what people are searching for, and this would be considered market research. You're basically showing the demand for this product, the need for this product, who's the type of person that wants this product. That's what really goes into market research. Doesn't have to be fancy, it's whatever you can find, but it's that loose framework. Third thing you have is your goals. What do you want to achieve in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 4 years, 5 years? Take it as far as you want. For example, you want to deliver meals to 25 clients a week within the first 3 months. Or by the end of your first year, you want to at least have 80 clients repeatedly buying from you over the span of the last 4 months. Whatever it is, you want to get your goals written down so you have something you're driving towards. Fourth thing you want to have is a concrete revenue plan. And this is super critical for yourself because it will really help you understand if you're going in the right direction and how this is all breaking in your favor. So this isn't just about your gross revenue, which where a lot of starting entrepreneurs kind of fall short. This is about getting your gross revenue, your net profit, your expenses, all of that in order. So you really want to know what your gross revenue target is. So the total money coming in, what you hope to gain. So selling 250 meals at $10 each equals $2,500. Now that's not $2,500 profit. That's $2,500 gross. You then want to list your expenses, ingredients, containers, delivery costs, and any other marketing expenses you might have. Then what's left over after those expenses is your net profit. In the beginning, this might even be negative, and that's totally okay because as you're defining your business plan, you should be able to see when this can turn around and be profitable. A business plan helps you realize whether you're just breaking even or actually making a profit. And it's key to know when and how you're going to scale. Fifth, and this is where a lot of side hustle gurus kind of breeze over, is you want to have a marketing plan. And you want to put more thought to this than just listing out social media. You want to really think about who your audience is and start to really focus on how you're going to reach them. Sure, social media is one, but get a little bit more detailed. You're going to focus on certain hashtags, focus on networking with certain gyms and collaborating with certain gyms, having their social media post about you. You may want to do local flyers and post them around places where you know there's a lot of healthy young professionals looking for this type of service, or through word of mouth that you have a referral program for whatever client actually buys your service. You give them a $10 credit towards any meal they get if they refer a friend. These types of succinct marketing plans will be crucial because your business is nothing if nobody knows about it, and your marketing plan is how you're going to get people to know about it. And the sixth thing is operations. How will you manage your time and resources? Will you cook the meals on weekends? And will you deliver it during the week? You want to set an actual schedule on how your operation will succeed. Every Saturday for 4 hours, I will take in orders. I will do this. I will do that. You want to set this block of time. It helps you manage, especially if you have a family, to set these expectations up front. Let them know where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do. And it helps you keep yourself focused. A lot of entrepreneurs kind of fail at this part, and this is why their business fails, is because they didn't manage their time well enough, or they didn't openly communicate what they're trying to do, or they underestimated how much time it's going to take. Now, there is a model that can really help you. I would suggest you Google it. It's called the Lean Canvas model if you want something visual. It's a one-page framework that makes this super easy. Definitely check it out. A lot of people have said it's what attributed them to be successful as an entrepreneur when they first starting out. Again, that's called the Lean Canvas model. I'll also list it in the show notes. Now, one of the best things about a business plan is it helps you figure out if what you're doing is still worth your time and effort. Your business plan can help you reevaluate. Are you pricing your product service correctly? Are you targeting the right audience? Is there a better way for you to market or scale what you're doing? Sometimes a business plan also shows when you need to just pivot or when it's time to just move on. And that's okay because it's all about working smarter, not harder. A lot of times people find themselves sinking their money into a business that never had a chance to be profitable. And why do they do that? Because they didn't have a business plan that had set milestones for them to achieve, to know when to double down or know when to get out. So a business plan can really keep you open-eyed and understand and keep this business from being a personal pet project to something that's actually going to thrive or something you just abandon altogether. Now, one of the most overlooked aspects of a business plan is the financial projection. This isn't about dreaming up big numbers, it's about understanding how your business will operate financially. Let's stick with our meal prep service example. Your revenue, you plan on selling 250 meals a month at $10 each. That's $2,500 in gross revenue. But you should have done your research on your ingredients to get there. So you have 1,000 ingredients, 300 in packaging, 200 in marketing, $300 in delivery costs. That leaves you with $700 in profit if you did your math correctly. But what about your time? If it takes you 20 hours to prep the packaging and deliver, that's 35 an hour before taxes. Is that worth it? Maybe you need to update your pricing. This is something you really should do upfront before you start really going in action, because it will help you understand where you need to be and what your sweet spot is for this overall business. This can help you decide if it's a sustainable business or if you just need to make some adjustments. Raising prices may not be the thing. It's changing your ingredients, finding different packaging, maybe figuring out your delivery schedule, but knowing these numbers really well will help you keep you honest and making sure that this juice is worth the squeeze. Now, here are some common mistakes people make when writing a business plan. It can feel overwhelming and it's easy to fall into some common traps. So let's just talk about a few of them. One is overestimating your revenue. It's attempting to assume you'll sell out every day. Be conservative with your projections and always have a buffer. It's better to be conservative and over-deliver than over-project and be disappointed. Second mistake is ignoring or just not considering what they could say is hidden cost. You always want to make sure you're considering things like taxes, platform fees, unforeseen expenses that eat into your profits. So having some type of contingency budget baked into your business plan is always advisable to cover some of these unforeseen costs, but also consider your taxes, consider your platform fees, and it's better to overestimate these. So say your taxes is 30% rather than 22% or 10% because you're going to do all this. Just over project. That's going to make things a lot more digestible for you and help you focus in the right direction. Now, the third big mistake is skipping market validation. There are people that go all in on a business plan, over investing without even testing something. You always want to test and see if the market will accept it, see if your pricing is right. All those things are really critical to know if your business is valid. That's why a lot of times you're going to run in the negative in the beginning because you want to run these tests to see if they're viable options. And then if they are, you can scale up or make your tweaks before you scale up. And last one is failing to update your plan. There is a phrase in corporate America, I don't know if everyone understands it, but this document is a living document. Your business will evolve, so should your plan. So making it a living document that you revisit monthly is super critical. A lot of times entrepreneurs find the business plan they created on day one is a completely different business than what they have on month 12. It's always good to continue to update and iterate your business plan as things progress. Right, before we wrap up, I want to take you through an audio walkthrough of drafting your business plan. Think of this as a guided exercise, so you can grab a notebook, open a Google Doc, or just listen and mentally fill in the blanks. I hope this walkthrough really helps you put together a business plan for what you have in mind. Ready? All right, here we go. Your idea or business overview. Start by answering this question. What's the name of your business or side hustle? Now describe what you do in 1 or 2 sentences. For example, I run a meal prep service that delivers healthy meals to busy professionals. Who's your target customer? Be specific. Working parents who don't have time to cook but want to afford healthy meals. 2, market research. Ask yourself, who are my competitors? Write down at least 1 or 2 names or go find some. What makes your product or service unique? Maybe it's your pricing, a special ingredients, or your delivery method. But really try and lean in. What is going to make your service unique? This is where you can use Google Trends and Facebook groups to explore what are people searching for? What are they asking for? What are the demands in your area? Where is there a gap in this service that you can fill? Third area, goals. Set a 3-month goal. For example, sell 50 meals per week by the end of month 3. Now your 6-month goal. And finally, 1-year goal. Your revenue plan. Write down your pricing. How much will you charge for your product or service? You should have discovered a range while you were doing your research because it's going to be really hard for you to compete if your price is above everyone else. So you should have a target price that is educated based on what's going on in the market and what you think is feasible for this type of service. You should have also determined in your researching what your major costs are. Break them down. Your materials, your shipping, your marketing, your taxes, every little dollar you want to try and capture here. And now you need to calculate your estimated gross revenue and net profit. You want to have this to be detailed here, and it's okay if it feels like you're kind of guessing, but you want to make sure they're educated guess. So during that research process, you should have researched a lot of these things, such as ideal price range, ingredients, etc. Now, if you find yourself that none of this is worth it, every time you do the math, it's just like, wow, this can't turn out for me, then guess what? Your business plan is working. That is a perfect reason on why a business plan is so crucial. It prevents you from investing too much money into something that doesn't make sense when it comes down to the math. Your marketing plan. What platforms will you use and what audience will you reach? Of course, you can list Instagram and TikTok, but you want to get very specific. Those target hashtags, which gyms you're going to target, etc. Write them down, but be detailed. And how much will you spend on this? Do you want to start by spending money, or are you going to focus on all organic? If you're going to focus on organic, at least start to pay for some classes to learn more if you don't know social media at all. And those will all be expenses to your business that you need to continue to track in your revenue plan. And last, operations. What does your typical day or week look like if you were to start this business? You want to think about time efficiency and making sure that this is something that's manageable and worth your time and effort. Now, as you went through these steps, I don't want you to worry about making it perfect. A business plan isn't about perfection, it's about having a starting point. And remember, this plan is flexible. Revisit it often, and as you learn more about your ingredients costs, things like that, you can put them down and see if this is starting to make sense or not. All right, that'll do it for today's episode. Let me know what you've thought about it in the comments. I always love to hear from you. And speaking of that, that brings us to the next week episode, which is a mailbag episode where I do want to hear your questions. So drop those in the comments. Or if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you join me there and submit your questions through my stories. I'll be collecting them throughout the week and addressing them in next week's episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow, leave a comment, share this podcast with someone who needs it. It helps the algorithm and keeps this very small podcast right now growing. Also, make sure you give me a 5-star review if you're listening to this on Spotify. I've been seeing them and they have been really helping me out. And don't forget to check out the description for my Flippa journey if you guys are interested in watching me buy a side hustle. That's going to be an interesting one. Until next week, guys, peace.